Welcome back to Lunchtime Politics. And now to some of our stories in brief. Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State has formally received the members of the 7th Assembly of the Anambra Legislature and tasked them on increased synergy with the executive arm of government, as well as to ensure effective representation of their constituencies. The governor was speaking when he received the members of the House at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, to congratulate them on the successful inauguration and election of the Speaker, as well as other principal officers of the House. The new leadership of the House of Representatives, on another hand, has promised to carry along the opposition as the House constitutes its committees in a few weeks. That's moving, of course, away from Anambra State right now. Let's head over to the lower house. And there you have it. The new leadership of the House of Representatives has promised to carry the opposition along as the House constitutes its committees in a few weeks. The Speaker of the House, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, gave this assurance after a closed-door meeting with the Vice President, Professor Yemi of Shimbajo, at the State House. Now, on the purpose of his visit to the Vice President, the Speaker says he met to discuss ways in which the executive and legislative arms could collaborate effectively. Well, let's bring you some more updates now. We have our correspondent, Kayla Megwa, who joins us live to give us some updates as we speak. Hello, Kayla.
Hi, Kayode. Okay, so we are at the Independent, the International Republican Institute and the National Democratic Institute. They're submitting their final report on the 2019 general elections. They submitted a bit of it yesterday to the INEC chairman, but today they've unveiled the full report, which is what I'm holding in my hand right now. And it's a very interesting report. It says, amongst other things, that the elections in 2019 did not meet the expectations of many Nigerians. We're very specific about that. And they said this particular election in 2019 is an opportunity for Nigerians, the Nigerian government, to have a conversation about our democracy since 1999, and that they hope that the recommendations that they've made in this particular report will help Nigerians make that particular conversation and see how we can make our electoral process better. Among a lot of things that they called out, a lot of damning reports, really. They said the political parties in Nigeria, the weakest link in Nigeria's democracy, say they don't meet up with democratic principles in choosing of their leaders, and they do not hold their members accountable whenever they break electoral rules. They were very specific about that in this report. Now, they say that the major reason why they think this election didn't meet the needs of many Nigerians, didn't meet the expectations of many Nigerians, is mostly because of the postponement. They say voter confidence in the electoral process was very low for the 2019 election, also pointing out that for the presidential election, only 35% of the registered voters actually came out to vote for president. They're saying that this is one of the lowest, really, since we turned back to democracy in 1999. A lot of things to be said about the report, but basically the overall view of the IRI and the NDI, the final report on the 2019 general elections, is that it did not meet the expectations of many Nigerians, and they're asking for a better conversation between the government and the people on what our democratic process should be and how we can improve on many areas of Nigeria's democracy. But they were specific, unlike many of the other reports that we've seen. This report was specific, said that the APC dominated in northern Nigeria, and they're saying that the president won the election based on his report. Those are the findings from the IRI and the NDI, Kayode.
Right. Thank you so much, Kayla. That report, I believe, would, of course, form a major talking point in the coming days. Yet another report about the Nigerian elections. Well, let's move on, or move back to one of our lead stories, and that's talking about the impasse in Edo State House of Assembly. We had earlier a member-elect of Umuwande constituency, Mr. Washington Osifa, and he rejoins us. Thank you for staying with us on the program. So you were trying to tell us what exactly is happening in Edo State House of Assembly.
Well, I think, let me put it, the situation that in Edo State, that it brings forth the transparency of trust, and when little or no occupied authority, exactly what you see. I listened very carefully to build up your story, and I heard you trying to tell what happened at the Halo of Edo State last night. The nocturnal operation, a few members, some 5 and 4 others who were captured against their will to be there at that time. For what happened yesterday, at about the or soon there, 19 of members and Edo State House of Assembly came together at the building UJ in Edo State here to demand that the governor should live up to responsibility as governor and obey the rules of the law, as adumbrated in Constitution, particularly in Section 105(3), which of course imposes on him to immediately, at the expiration of the last.
Okay, Mr. Osifo, I'd like to break in for a bit and briefly ask you this before we let you go. Now, you said 19 of you met, 19 out of 24, and reports coming out say about 8 to 9 met or were inaugurated in the House, and 19 out of 24 is 5, and then you have between 8 and 9. So that means about 4 out of the people that met were also a part of the inauguration. Help us to piece that together on a final note.
Yes, I think we need to set that mathematics. As a member state of the rep, thank God your TV channels to cover the press that we did yesterday. Those 4 members happen to be one of the night, when we did our press briefing. Sometime around 4 o'clock, done with the brief, at about 5:30, about the clerk of the House called us to start.
Yet again, Mr. Osifo, yet again, we'll have to apologize for the poor audio. We seem to be having a major difficulty hearing you, but definitely we'll still get your view on this. We'd like to appreciate your time on the program. Moving to another story, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it only experimented the transmission of election results electronically during the staggered elections which were held before the general elections. The INEC National Commissioner in charge of the Southwest, Solomon Shoyebi, mentioned this at the post-election review activities which held at the INEC office in Osogbo. Mr. Shoyebi explains that the electronic transmission of election results was piloted in Sokoto and tested in Osun governorship election, but was not used for the general elections.
The 2019 elections were conducted according to law. We used the Federal Constitution of the Federal Republic, we used the Electoral Act, and we used our own guidelines for 2019 general elections. The guidelines are just, everybody asked it. We gave it to media, to political parties, to everybody. If you look at them, all of them, we did not conduct election outside these 3 instruments. If you look at those 3 instruments carefully, you will see that there was no way where the issue of transmission ever was highlighted there.
And the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the February 23rd presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, has been speaking about the report released by the European Union Election Observer Team. Mr. Obi describes the report as a vindication of critical minds who have raised issues on the outcome of the election. In a statement from the former Anambra Governor's media office, Mr. Obi says the EU report merely captured what many Nigerians knew about what and has been highlighting, saying that Nigerians should learn lessons from the report and ensure that future elections are conducted in the standard international best practices. Now, Obi said that the EU report clearly shows that the 2019 election was a clear setback from the 2015 general election, which was conducted by President Goodluck Jonathan, which hugely enhanced Nigeria's democratic credentials at the global stage. Well, that's much we can take on the program this afternoon. We'd like to appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu.